Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Protecting Seas. I'm Nikki, I'm the co-founder of Mimoana, and thank you so much for joining us so early in the morning.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, today we're talking with Plastic Free Cayman, who has a little bit of the same ideology as Mimoana, but then, of course, in a different part of the world. So, what exactly do you guys do?
So Plastic Free Cayman, we started back in 2018. We got our not-for-profit status back in 2018. We have three main aims, which is awareness, education, and action, is similar to you guys, really, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So awareness is just by going into schools, and that links with education. We like to go into schools, into corporate offices, and do talks, and um, just try and give people a foundation of our situation here. And then acting is we do monthly cleanups every month. We have been doing it for the past like 6 years. So those are our three main goals, and really we'd like to stick to those.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's very similar as what you said to us. We also do monthly cleanups, also underwater and on beaches. We go to schools and we educate. So it's amazing to see that, we work together in that aspect just to get a cleaner planet, which is what we need in the end. Yeah. You mentioned cleanups. Is there anything like weird that you found?
Oh gosh, we find all sorts. I feel like everybody would be like, uh-huh. We get a lot of our stuff in from Haiti and the Dominican Republic. A lot of our stuff comes from that way.
Hmm.
Um, we get a lot of those little yellow, I think they're like we get water packs that are, just
Yeah.
little bags filled with water that you just see little bites out of. People have obviously been drinking. They're like, I don't know what they're carry, but they're little yellow squeezy tubes you take the top of. We get hundreds of those.
Okay.
We get those aren't weird though. I guess the weirdest thing we found some strange, interesting drugs. We get
Ooh.
lots. Oh yes. We found a kilo once of something or other disguised as a pack of Nike socks. They
Ooh.
had faked the Nike packaging. It was insane. Like some of the stuff. Find little clips with like babies on them and stuff. All sorts of
Oh.
shoes, needles, full vials of blood, and then also pieces of plastic bottles. Plastic bottles before they get inflated into
Hmm.
the full bottle. We find a bunch of those all the time. So, as for weirdest stuff, that's kind of weird for me. All of those are kind of like, my gosh, what the heck?
What's it doing here? Oh, wait,
That should be there.
I love that you mentioned drugs because we found drugs here as well. We found I think it was like
Yeah.
8 kilos of heroin, and
Oh,
we
yeah.
found it on the beach, like these weird big brown boxes, and we thought it was like
There you go.
cigars, or we even thought maybe it's like an explosive. Like we were scared. And then we called the police, and they were like, "Stay right there." And we're like, "Yeah, but
Yeah.
what if someone comes and takes it from us? Like, what do we do?"
Well, no, we had to call the police as well because I mean it was crazy. It was like this big, like this, and it literally had the Nike logo. We're like, are you joking? Oh my gosh.
Nearly, like thought it was real. Nearly there. Oh my days. Well, it's funny that we see the same similar things. Then it's
Yeah.
it's it's funny to talk about. At the same time, it's just so worrying because it just rotates. It's everywhere.
They're the items that people somehow disregard the most, and medical waste is just kind of crazy when you
Mm.
think medical waste. And we need to survive, so we kind of need this medical waste, but I mean there should be better ways of disposing of it so it doesn't end up on a beach.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it belongs there. No. So you focus mainly on beach, or do you also go into the water?
So yeah, we've had I think just last December we had an above below cleanup. So we had a little team of divers that went out and did a underwater cleanup. We don't do a ton of them, to be honest. I don't know. A lot of our dive sites they're off boating offshore, and we try to pull out a lot of families, and not a lot of families can dive, right? So
Right.
we do try to have them when we can. We try to have underwater cleanups. Um, but yeah, our biggest focus is the beach. And, even when I go free diving, I see plastic on the bottom. I'm always picking it up. So we encourage people to do it while they snorkel, just whenever you are, just do a cleanup, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we say, every dive is a cleanup dive. Is basically the
Well, exactly.
phrase.
Every dive is a
Exactly.
cleanup dive.
Exactly. Well,
Exactly.
that's really good. Because of course everything that's on the beach then ends up in the ocean. So you have to start at the beach and cleaning up the beach so it doesn't then rotate
Right?
into the ocean. And how much do you have like an average of what you find like kilo-wise, or I don't know?
Yeah, so we do pounds here,
Okay.
and so from our first year, like our 2017 to 2018, we collected like 13,300 pounds. Like this was
Wow.
at the very beginning of Plastic Free. We didn't have much awareness at all about these things, and so there was a lot to be collected. It has slowly, thankfully, kind of come down in how much we collect per year.
That's good.
Um, well, yeah, which is it is
Yeah.
good, you know. But then after COVID, we saw a bit of an increase again with all of the single use items and masks were everywhere, and you know, LFT tests, and it went up because we weren't able to clean the beaches as much. So we saw another increase again there. And we also try to get to our other islands. So we have Little Cayman and Cayman Brac. So even this February, just this February, we went to Little Cayman with a group of students, and we did a cleanup, and we collected for only 15 people. We collected like 1,300 pounds of trash in like 2 days. You know,
Wow.
the beaches there are just littered. There's only 160 people that live in Little Cayman.
Oh
And
wow.
so they just need more support in terms of cleanup because not everybody is able to just get out there and do it, right?
Yeah.
So it really depends where you go. It depends after a hurricane too. If after hurricanes we have a lot more stuff on our beaches, a lot gets brought in on the tide. Um, it varies a lot depending. It does vary a lot depending.
Okay. Well, just for those listening, I was just looking up. 1,000 pounds is about 500 kilos. Obviously for those listening, which is quite similar to what we find as well. We find between like
Mhm.
300 to 500 kilograms on a
Exactly.
day, like two
Yeah,
hours, 3 hours. So it is
exactly.
quite similar to what we do, which is, well, it's saddening to hear, of course, that the trash is everywhere. But at the same time, it's good that it gets removed because the more you get on one side, it's bad. On the other side, it's okay, but we're getting it out. So that's kind of a good
Exactly.
sign as well. There's a bit on both. And then, but
Hmm.
also looking at your website, it said something about youth leaders.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So we have a group here called Protect Our Future, which was started at one of our local high schools, called Human International School, by one of the also founders of Plastic Free Cayman, which is Bill Lamont. He's gone now. He's left us. We miss him so
oh,
much. But he basically motivated all these students who cared so much about environmental issues to start this Protect Our Future club, where they talk about all issues. It's not just plastic. You know, right now they're working with the Mission Blue, which is Sylvia Earle's company. We have a Hope Spot here in Cayman. They do work with them. But yeah, they've been massive with Plastic Free. They been amazing ambassadors for us, talking to other students, getting parents involved and stuff like that. It's so important that
it is.
youth grow up
Yeah.
aware of these issues.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, and I love that you focus on that because we also, as I said, focus really on education. So we go to schools. We've got this educational program where it's a video per week, 7 weeks long, and then they sort of,
Oh, cool.
yeah, they follow us with like little games, and is this recyclable or not? They have to then
Cool.
classify trash at home, at school, and then the end goal is for them to join, of course, a cleanup and to think about a way to reduce plastic either at home or at school. So they actually have
Yeah.
to think about it and come with an idea. And then the
Oh,
best
I love
ones,
that.
they get promoted on our website. So it's just a way of them to also think about their future, which
Hmm.
is, of course, what we need because it's the next generation,
Hmm.
right? And we
Hmm.
want to
It's their
keep.
world.
Exactly.
This is the
And
world
if
they're inheriting.
Exactly, and if you read that in 2040 there's going to be more plastic than fish in the sea,
Yep.
yeah, it's worrying.
It's very worrying. That's
Yeah.
just big plastic you can see. That's not even microplastic.
Oh, it's everywhere. Microplastic is everywhere. But it's definitely important. So youth take a big part of it. They're a big part of Plastic Free.
Mhm.
And what is the basic purpose of it? So of course for the next generation, but also what are you trying to achieve with it more than that?
So, really, another big part of having the youth on our side, and just in general for us, of what we do, is to try and get our government to start listening.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? You know, back in 20, when was it? I think it was back in 2017, we had a petition for a single-use plastic, well, I think it was just a bag ban, just a plastic bag ban. And we got a bunch of signatures on that petition. And you know, we had a steering council with the government for like a single-use plastic steering council to start moving towards that. But COVID came and it all just went poof. And
Yep.
since then, we have really seen almost little to no action whatsoever from our government. They keep saying it's coming. They keep going, yeah, it's
But
coming,
when?
it's coming, it's coming. And we're like, well, when is that going to happen? Where meanwhile, all the other countries in the Caribbean are going single-use plastic free. They all have plastic bans. They're all regulated. The Bahamas, you have to disregard everything you have that's single-use plastic on the plane before you even enter the country. They're taking this environmental part of it so seriously, and we're one of the top countries in the Caribbean, and yet we don't have anything like that, which is kind of ridiculous. So basically, that's a big part of it too. We're trying to put pressure on the government to move this along,
do something,
to get this going. Just anything, just something would be great. So the students do a great job of that, because the students, they're the future. They're the ones who will be inheriting it. They're the ones who could say, hi, this is what we want. Please put this in place.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that's another big part for us.
And do you get financial support, or are you doing it yourselves?
It's all private sector here. We have never had any support from the government in terms of any of the things that we've done, which is, again, a little crazy, considering we're cleaning up their beaches for tourism. But anyway. So yeah, it's mostly private sector. We've had an amazing, last May, we had Ollie Rush. He swam around Cayman Islands to raise awareness for Plastic Free Cayman.
Wow.
It took him 37 hours.
Wow.
Incredible human. He's Project Planet on Instagram, if you check him out. He's so big into plastic pollution issues in Cornwall in the UK. Anyway, so yeah, he swam around the whole island, and we had amazing sponsorship from that. It was a fundraiser for BFC. It basically allowed me, the first employee, to get a paycheck, which has been massive for us. So we rely a lot on our community and very little on the government.
Yeah, I feel like we're twinning there, because we get no financial help either from anyone. We depend fully on donations. And what we do is we recycle plastic into jewelry, so then we sell that. So from that,
that's what we want to do too.
Oh well, look at that! Yeah, we're twinning then. But yeah, we started doing that, I think, last year, just to get a little bit more help economically. Yeah. Because we can't continue. We've got one sponsor, which is Specsavers, which is the optician's big company, and there's one shop nearby here that wanted to help us. So it's little, but it's something. And then we're to the government, we're like, hi, can you help us to clean your beaches? And they're like, no, first you have to be registered 2 years, then you have to do this, you have to do that. And we're just, no. And then when you're registered 2 years, they're like, well, but, when you need to do this. And so it's basically just excuses to not give us anything.
That's normal.
So I feel like that's sort of a worldly problem. It's everyone. It's global.
True. Exactly. Yeah.
But it's so sad. But it's amazing that he swam around the whole island just to do that. It's amazing.
He trained for a long time for it, and he jumped in, and I was on the boat with them when they did it, and I did my kayak stint. We had to have shark deterrents, nothing that would hurt the sharks, just something to scare them.
Of course.
But we had it was an incredible experience. He's an incredible person. He's about to swim around an island in Greece, I believe. Wow. Is his next one. Yeah, so he's not stopping. He's all over this.
Amazing.
But yeah, he was incredible. So
people like that are just amazing, aren't they? Yesterday I met this amazing guy. He has a project called the Blue Spain, soon to be the Blue Europe. And what he did, so he's going around with a sailboat around the whole of Spain to see what the plastic pollution is and calculating how much microplastic there is. But what he did before that is he was the first guy to walk the whole planet, walking. And then he swam the 5 continents together. So he swam from one continent to the other, one to the other. Sure.
What the heck?
I know. For plastic. His name is Nacho Dean. He's the Spanish amazing guy. Lovely guy. I met him yesterday. And he swam from one continent to the other, connecting them to try and raise awareness for pollution and showing people, look, this is what I found. He wrote a book about it. It was amazing. But it left such a big impression on me. Like, how?
These people are superheroes. These people who do these things are superheroes.
I know. And he's like, I trained a long time for it. It's like, if I train a long time for it, I still can't do it. I don't know how you do it. But it's just, I'm happy to have people like that just, raise awareness in a different way.
I know there, everybody finds their way to make a difference, and it
Definitely.
doesn't, and it can be completely unique to you, right? That's a big thing we believe here is that any difference is a difference. Any decision you make that pushes us in the right direction is
Yeah.
help.
Yeah.
You don't need to swim around the entire country, but even if you just start making sustainable switches in your home, anything.
Yeah, no, definitely, you're definitely right. So yeah, it's amazing to have people like that. Now before we finish, I'm gonna put you a little bit on the
Mm-hmm.
spot here. If you could
Okay.
say one thing just to motivate people to make a change, one thing, one phrase, short phrase,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh gosh.
what would it be? Go.
Okay.
Think about it.
Um. Okay. I think my favorite phrase is protect what you love. I think that's my
Love that.
favorite phrase
Yeah,
is to motivate people would just be to protect what you love. And maybe they don't realize that what they love is the planet yet, but if
yeah.
they can connect those dots and understand that their future is linked to the future of our planet, then they will protect what they love. That would be it.
That's amazing. I love that. That's gonna be the title of this. That's amazing. I'm definitely using that. No, but that's amazing. I love that. Yeah, that's a fantastic phrase. Well, thank you so much for everything you do. I
Oh,
know you're
thank you.
far away, but I hope to meet you one day and join our forces to clean our planet.
Well, definitely. Well, let's find some way to somehow meet someday. That'd be
Definitely.
great.
Oh yeah, definitely doing that. But it was so nice to talk to you and share your motivation, my motivation, and our objectives sort of together.
Yeah.
And thank you what you're doing for the planet. You're doing an amazing job, and you're cleaning up so much. Was just a goal for us. So it's you're really an example for us. So thank you so much.
Oh, and you guys too. Amazing work. I mean, honestly, anybody, you guys are just amazing. Thanks for having us on here. Thanks for educating
Of
people and being
course.
brilliant.
Oh, thank you. So next week we've got a mystery guest. So let's see who comes next week. Thank you for everyone who listened and watched, and we hope to see you next week.